What's up in here, man?
Whole camera crew.
What's going on, Tex Mex fam? We're doing another Mex Talk episode. We're talking about hood culture today. What you know about hood culture, man?
Well, I know about hood culture.
So yeah, he's gonna introduce himself, so he has his credentials.
My name is Logan Humphrey.
Welcome back, by the way.
Thank you. I'm from the Northeast.
They get noisy in Boise.
Northeast. Grew up in Philly and Delaware. I've seen a lot of hood culture, but I was mostly on the outskirts of it. I was kind of detached, you could say. So.
Yeah, but what hood culture you talking about? Where'd you grow up?
Around Philadelphia, North Philly. That's about it. I can't really say much about hood culture because I was not.
Oh no, but you still got family that was with it and everything. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like what is it? What is hood culture?
Hood culture. It's just
because I think there's an obvious difference when we're talking about hoods, because a lot of people would say it's only impoverished areas, but I don't think so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, because we don't call trailer parks the hood, depending where it is. The hood in this case is primarily urban areas, impoverished urban areas, highly populated. Usually that with crime, because there's three main things. There's the ghetto, and then there's a hood, and there's ratchet.
Ghetto hood.
So if we're going to different neighborhoods, right? I think you have to firmly decide the difference. So I'll say, for example, Tampa. No disrespect for Tampa, man. This is not the hood. It's not ghetto. It's not the hood. Yes, I've been to Ybor. Yes, I've been to Temple Terrace. All the different spots.
It's more ratchet than that.
You can't tell me, hey, I'm from Carrollwood, dog. What you know about Carrollwood? And it's not. It also at the same time. Let's say it's not something to be proud of going through a hard life. I'm sorry you had to go through that if you did. But no, right. So yeah, Tampa's example of ratchet, which I mean, it's not just because let's find a good way to explain it too. You know what I mean? But yeah, ratchet is ratchet behavior. You know what I mean? Where it's not dangerous. It's not really that much poverty. It's just a little ratchet, and sometimes ratchet can be pretty fun. You know what I mean? I've had my fun with some ratchets. I'm just kidding.
What's the definition of ratchet?
Oh, you want to Google it?
How does it compare to?
All right, so I'm gonna have to go to Urban Dictionary because it might explain it better than I can. But while we're doing that, what's the definition of ghetto? I think ghetto is one step above, where it's maybe not that dangerous, but it's definitely impoverished.
Yeah.
Because we actually know the root of the word ghettos come from World War II. Or maybe a little bit before. It could be within a few years. Because they put a lot of Jewish and other denominations of religion. I think it's mainly specifically Jewish. I could be wrong about it, but obviously Nazi Germany pushed out people into these communities, and they're extremely poor, and obviously didn't have the food they needed. It was bad. That's where the ghettos come from. And in today's world, in the USA specifically, ghettos are impoverished areas that they can still be ratchet. Some ghettos aren't that ratchet. Some ghettos are just ghetto, but they can still have some ratchet. So it's like that level 1, level 2. Now what's hood? Oh, let's give an example of a ghetto city. It's impoverished, but it's not dangerous.
I'd say some parts of San Antonio, I believe.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I know there's gonna be someone from San Antonio what you mean, man? I see 30,000 dead bodies yesterday. No. But there's worse. There's much worse than San Antonio.
There's still a bunch of money going into that.
Or even some parts of San Francisco, to be honest. Some parts, like all the homeless areas. And hood. Hood is when you're ratchet and have, impoverished areas. And it's dangerous. So obviously a lot of parts of Southside Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Baltimore, even though, let's give a shout out to the mayor of Baltimore, I think they're headed for one of their lowest crime rates the last couple of years. I could be wrong about that, but we'll double check that. But if that is true, congrats to the mayor of Baltimore, man. We love seeing people die less. I think it's good that people die less.
I don't like to see people die for not no reason, but for reasons that don't need to be died over.
So the definition of ratchet is Oh, I'm about to butcher this word. Excuse I'm not very vernacular.
Diminutive.
Diminutive of wretched, of poor character, nasty, dirty, foul, morally reprehensible. Which, I mean, to be honest, is in a lot of cities. You know what I mean? Ratchet, a ghetto girl who is loud, obnoxious, and constantly causing drama and trash. Well, that's two different ways to say it. That is true. A ratchet girl will never wear a suit and talk like this. Oh, hell nah. I know that bitch was not talking to my friend. Like, I'm finna beat her ass. Ooh, she's so fake. Sounds like high school. I remember seeing it in high school. But yeah, from my background, I'm from Southside Los Angeles. I ran around all over. Spent most of my life, there's a couple spots in San Pedro, Wilmington. There's like everything. And a lot of people who aren't from Los Angeles don't know how Los Angeles is. Los Angeles County is massive. But when we're talking about LA, all the little towns like a minute from each other. Like Compton's a 15-minute drive from me. There's Torrance. There's like Watts is not that far.
I didn't know they were all so close.
No, I can show you a map of it. One part that was, I think, one of the more dangerous parts, but it was primarily Hispanic, was Wilmington. Like that shit was pretty ghetto. And Gardena. Honestly though, Oakland and Compton is not as dangerous as people think.
Yeah.
I think I felt less safe in some parts San Pedro, because some parts of San Pedro were pretty nice. But that's how Los Angeles is. You can drive 20 minutes or 15, even 10 minutes and be in a decent area. 10 minutes down, you're in the projects.
Yep. That's where I feel like.
Like, who set up these zones?
I don't know. Well, it's so weird to me that they're so close to each other. Like, the high-end parts of the community, you drive 10 minutes, and it's so separated, but it's so close at the same time.
Man, I was kind of freaked out looking off that cream.
That's crazy. On camera, too.
But yeah, anyways, so that's the thing. I mean, I would say sometimes ratchet culture is fun. That's the thing about ratchet culture, in my opinion. It's 90% of the time it's pretty harmless. Like, I wouldn't really go with the definition that Urban Dictionary provides, because sometimes like you can have friends act a little ratchet and it's fun. You know what I mean? It's not exactly a bad thing. But now we talking about your hood. Friends are hood and friends are ghetto. Like, that's different. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if we're going to a party together and one of our friends is twerking, like, oh man, she's getting her ratchet on. But like, now you got like, imagine like, now she's starting fights in the club. Like, bro, that's ghetto for no reason.
Somebody pulls out a gun.
Yeah, that's hood, bro. Get me out of here, bro. Like, bro, they only asked you for $15 to come in, bro. It's not that deep. But no, yeah. So I think that a lot of people really stay in their bubble and they think down on communities that we come from. But some of those people are right, you know what I mean? Like, it is dangerous and a lot of people act stupid as hell. But I think a lot of people don't realize a lot of people that come from like ghettos where we come from, there's a lot of beauty in the culture, and a lot of beauty in the struggle, which you can see a lot of people, you can understand it. You have to live it to be there, because there's some parts where, man, it's dog eat dog. But some parts it's beautiful, man. Like,
there's a sense of community in there.
Oh yeah, man. Like, think about it. Like, there's always like that one basketball coach keeping the kids together. Like, think about it, bro. There's, honestly, bro, in the area, especially hoods, there's not many good parents. Just how it is. A lot of times, bad parents that let their kids do what they want. That basketball, that soccer coach, that football coach, bro, those are the people that keep kids out of prison.
Yep.
And I think it's beautiful to see, man. Like, you got any experience with that from Philly? Or like with your cousins from Philly or family?
In Philly, where I grew up, or where I lived for most of my time, there was this actual like lacrosse team that was going.
Boy, what the hell is lacrosse?
That was put together. Like, people in those kinds of cities, they don't know.
Boy, what the hell is lacrosse?
They don't know what lacrosse is, but they were taking the kids.
Do you know what lacrosse is?
Yes, I know what lacrosse is.
What the hell is lacrosse? The third time I asked
you. You don't know what lacrosse is?
No, bro.
It's when you have the.
See, he didn't grow up in the hood.
It's when you have
what the fuck is lacrosse?
It's when you have the stick, and it has the net on it, and you have the ball, and you.
Damn, did he teach the golf team too?
Nah.
Y'all had cricket a bit?
This is proving your point right, bro.
But no. All jokes aside, though. Sounds like a good dude.
Yeah, they put together a lacrosse team. They would take the kids that were in the impoverished area and some of them were friends with my brother.
They'll take them like on lunch, go.
No, they just had them at practice. They were like giving them a chance to get off the streets to do something productive, and they'd come over like to see my brother and whatnot, and they'd be hanging out, all excited about lacrosse and whatnot, instead of going home.
You're on something about that. I think that's what's killing our children in these neighborhoods is being bored.
Yeah.
A lot of them just get bored and they go hang out with the crash outs. And I'll tell you from experience, man. I knew plenty of crash outs growing up.
Yeah.
Man, I think without my grandmother, rest in peace her soul, I don't know where I would be. My grandmother did an amazing job keeping me away from that. Like, I wasn't away from it, but she still kept my head on straight and, like, warned me about this stuff.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the big issues, though, bro, is there's not many role models in these communities. And that's when it goes back to our last episode about the rappers and all that stuff. But I do think it does build something in you. It builds this, and it's tough to say, this kind of tougher survivor mentality, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then, and it helps in real life. Yeah, sometimes, like, especially me now, I'm like, dude, I live in a big-ass house. I got a gun collection. I'm balling. I should never complain because I knew where I came from. Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I'll open up a little, bro. You know I have a cockroach phobia? Not in other people's houses. So I'll kill, like, if I go to your house with a cockroach, I'll kill it right away. But back growing up, man, there used to be cockroaches running across the beans that were left on the thing. Bro, I'll tell you, I was scared to take a shower. Because there would always be big-ass LA cockroaches when I'm trying to take a shower, bro. No, like, bro, like, I don't even remember, there was, like, inconsistently hot water. It was mainly cold showers because it would take too long for it to warm up sometimes. And then I'm getting yelled at, stop wasting water. But no, yeah, man, there'll be cockroaches and they'll fly, so I'll be scared to take a shower. I'll be scared to eat leftovers. So now, bro, even if it's like, I know my house isn't dirty, I see a single roach, bro, I'll tell you, I start tweaking for like a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
like,
it's kind of like
the hood, like, may have taught me to be tough or whatever, but bro, that shit brought nothing but trauma sometimes. And there's a lot of stuff that obviously we won't even get into the podcast that brought trauma. But the one thing I'll never understand is people that glorify it to the way that, man, you from there, man, you ain't go through shit. Like, alright, bro, I'm sorry I didn't grow up in fucking Mogadishu. Like, it's the capital of Somalia.
Yeah.
How you done with that?
I don't know.
But no, you get what I'm saying, man.
Yeah. It's nothing to glorify.
But sometimes it's because they don't have anything else, you know what I mean?
Not for real. That's where other pride lays.
I think that, let's pause for a second, bro. What you just said, so they're proud about where they came from and like specifically to their hood because they have nothing else to be proud of, and that's sad. And I think that's bad for our kids growing up, you know what I mean?
It is.
So, we have two sides to this. What is the main bad thing about hood culture, and what is a main good thing? It don't gotta be the best thing, just whatever comes to your head.
The bad thing is, like we said, the glorified senseless violence and stuff like that. The good thing is the sense of community. You kind of suffer together and you build that kind of bond, and you just learn how to get creative with little, work with what you got.
Bro, I would honestly argue though that the community's worse. Because you think that a lot of I'm not going to speak for all neighborhoods, but my neighborhood growing up, bro, like I said, it was dog eat dog. These people aren't helping each other, man. It's, I think that's one of the tough pills to swallow that, bro, a lot of those people will sell you out quick. Like, everything about it doesn't make sense sometimes. Like, it's cherry picking morals over there.
Yeah.
And then, the one main thing too that I never understood in hood culture is all the activities are so unproductive. Like, bro, I remember I would buy my grandma those cards to call Mexico.
Yeah.
And, bro, I was scared to go in because you have like fucking 5 people doing nothing sitting in front of the liquor store.
Sitting in front of the liquor store just...
With tall ass socks, the Dickies.
That's what they were... What? Yo,
bro, yeah. And it was something that they do a lot in the hood. And it's not specifically drinking and driving, but this is big in like Latino culture. It's called cruising. So a lot of people, of course, nothing wrong with driving your nice car around. but they would drink and drive. Specifically, it was an activity that I knew a guy that he would only drink and drive. That was a tradition.
Unless I drive.
Well, not only, but like he would specifically go cruising.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind, like, dude, like what are we doing with ourselves? You know what I mean?
Yeah, literally. What are we? I'm like, yo, you want to go cruise?
Bruh, and I think...
let's go to the mall or something.
Bruh, yeah, man. You know what I'll say, too? In hood culture, we are... Like, I'm not a simp, bro. Don't get me wrong. You know, I mean, some of these ladies need to act right. But, damn, bro, they're so damn disrespectful to women, bro. I think, like, there's a difference between, you know, like, not wanting someone to act... I don't want to say ratchet, but, like, foul. But, like, bro, this is about to sound crazy. So elementary school, Los Angeles Unified School District. So those schools are shitty.
Yeah. So
there was something called like Slap Ass Friday when I was in 5th grade, and we had a cop come into our class say, so you guys have this thing called Slap Ass Friday, and let me tell you guys that's sexual assault.
Nah,
I'm sorry, but that is sexual assault completely. And these are like, keep in mind, we're all 10, but that's the thing about the hood too. You got old ass fucking kids in those classes.
Yep.
Bro, I remember we had like a 20-year-old in the senior year of high school. Like, bro, if he funked one more time, he could bring us some beer.
Nah, for real.
Like, bro, you should be finishing, bro, you should start your mortgage already, bro.
You should be in college by then.
But no, yeah, like, and I do think, in the hood, you do see a lot of these big federal efforts to change school systems first. And I'll be honest, bro, like the whole No Kids Left Behind, bro, that dropped standards bad on schools. They was letting anybody graduate.
Oh, yeah. Because going to school, I went to middle school in Philadelphia, and then I went to middle school in 6th grade in Philadelphia because I was staying with my dad. And then 7th grade, my grandma was like, she didn't want me going to school in Philadelphia and whatnot, so I went back to school in Delaware.
Oh, did she do it like in a rap song though, like in what's that Will Smith show? What's it called again? Remember when he got sent?
Fresh Prince of
Bro, remember when his grandma?
Yeah, Fresh Prince.
It's like, we're gonna go live with your. I feel like I'm going down in Bel Air.
But not, cause she moved to Delaware to get her Saturday, but my dad moved back.
Oh, so your grandma's the one that initiated that.
Yeah.
Yeah, good on your
she
grandma,
moved
man.
to Delaware, got us out of there, and
I bet she dropped a bag to do that.
Yeah, man. But she's done well for herself. Good blessings to her.
Shout out to Grandma Hum.
Yeah.
Is her last name still Humphrey?
No, Thomas.
Shout out Grandma Thomas.
Yep. And then my dad moved back to Philly, but we were trying to stay with our dad, and we went to Philly and went to 6th grade there, and that was the worst school.
Oh, that's one thing about public school in the hoods, bro. It's so easy to find drugs. Oh my god, I'm not gonna lie. I need to get rid of that habit too. I'm more colloquial. I have a vernacular now, as Kevin Gates would say. But no, I will say, bro, growing up in the hood affected my my career afterwards. And obviously, so I was discriminated actually. So it was. I mean, you can attest to this. You can ask people that you know from before. So I was looked at as stupid. They made a rumor that I was what's that word? When you can't read. I'm brain farming right now. You know what I'm talking about?
R word?
What? No, where you can't read. Illiterate.
Oh yeah.
They made a rumor that I was illiterate, and they would always kind of push work on me. They would never want me to put in public eye in front of officers or anybody else. And eventually, I finally had one of my NCOs say the reason, like, look, man, like, you need to learn better English. And I was like, fucking alright, dude, damn.
He gave it to you straight.
But no, yeah, I found out, in ways that I wish I didn't find out, that people that come from where I come from don't fit into where I work right now. And I was like, wow, so like I'm genuinely being discriminated because you guys think I'm incapable intellectually to do this job solely based on the way I speak, and I was making a genuine effort to speak, with a lot more correctness.
Yeah.
Being a little more politically correct, understanding when and where to raise your tone and everything, and that was a hard pill to grasp. So, how are we gonna get people out of these hoods when they get out the hood, they're treated that way? Because I know it took me years to stop talking ghetto.
Yeah.
But it's a shame that I was discriminated on that for years. And I genuinely tried hard to talk better, but I was a joke. And like I said, growing up, if you have a problem with someone, you tell them.
Yeah.
But it seems like when I got out of that situation, all these people talk behind their backs. It's like high school now. So I know obviously like it's good to get away from crash out behavior, fight over disrespect. But wow, it just blew my mind that the amount of crap that people talk once you get out the hood behind backs. It just becomes like they all act like, how much like two-faced, fake, whatever you want to say.
You would think with people that are in a place where you can get your stuff together, they know how to mind their business better, but I guess
it changes. But no, yeah, so after a couple years of discrimination, I bossed up, and I learned that, yes, I improved my English, I got a lot better at talking, but I'm not going to change who I am just because of what someone else said. I proved through action that I was capable of the job, more than capable than all of them.
Yeah.
And obviously you can see where I'm at. And it is what it is. But I'm not going to flex just on that. I still, God pray for them, and God pray for them to have a better understanding of other people. But I knew this one guy that was always talking about suffrage and we need to do this for our communities, this and that. But then joined the rumor that I was literate. So you're talking about we need to do better for these communities, but the one kid that's actually from the hood, you join that shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like,
so you see all that two-faced shit.
Herd mentality.
It's a lot of a virtue signaling. These people don't care about where people like me come from and people like you came from. We're meant to just be another statistic. And that's where I have a lot of compassion for people that grew up in those poverty. That's why I don't think a lot of these crash outs are retarded people. They're not. A lot of these people are just in bad positions that could be helped. And obviously they're making bad decisions and a lot of those decisions have to be punished. But it's not because they have a lower IQ or anything.
Exactly.
So, and I think a lot of that does fuel more racism and fuel more bigotry, which I'm not saying like I'm going for one side deep in, but I'm saying to really change the problem for the better, you have to understand the problem.
Yep.
But also at the same time, not fill it with excuses. Because I grew up there, that doesn't mean I have to follow in their steps.
Exactly.
Just because you grew up in the hood doesn't mean you have to act hood.
I feel like the problem is the environment. Like, a plant in this kind of soil might die, but you put it in a different kind of soil, you water it different, it'll grow and flourish. But the same with the environment. They grow up in that rough environment, and they end up staying there. They get accustomed to it. They get comfortable there. They don't end up leaving, and then that
really goes on to the whole issue that we have of generational welfare too, because like I said, like I didn't live in Section 8. I grew up right next to Section 8. Thank God, I was blessed enough to at least live next to it.
Yep.
But no, there's generations of people in Section 8, and it's it's a tough system to like look at. You're like, wow, it feels like a lot of these people feel like they're trapped forever.
Which is not the case.
No, it's not the case at all.
Go there and be like, get out.
But it's a shame though, like that perfect example I just brought up to you. As soon as I finally made it out, I'm being discriminated about it. You know what I mean?
That's when you started growing the most.
Oh no, I started growing the most when I fully accepted God in my life. Exactly. That's when I started growing the most. Yeah. But that attributes to kind of clearing up, saying, look, I can either complain about being discriminated, or I can show them it doesn't matter where I came from. I will fight and I will prove that I'm the best here. And that ended up happening.
Yep.
But, it's still no animosity toward anybody. At this point, I have forgiveness toward them. Because what's the point if I held on to the anger? But yeah, man, it's a shame that how much judgment that people from the hood have when a lot of them are genuinely just trying to do better. And then I think on the other side of things, though, they're getting shamed on from people in their own neighborhoods. Like the whole acting white stuff comes out.
It's like the crab in a bucket theory.
Oh, actually, I never heard
like
that.
I think Jay-Z said something about it too, but it's like you put a whole bunch of crabs in a bucket, and some crabs try to get out, and then the crabs on the bottom, they keep pulling at the other crabs and pulling them down, and so nobody ends up making it out the bucket.
Excuse me. I've never heard that, a crab in the bucket before.
Yeah,
but that makes sense though, dude. Because you know how many people I beg to join the military, go to trade school back home, and a lot of them, man, it was tough to see them continue on their gang crap, thinking that shit was cool, and like it almost hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I talked to someone, it's like you have a little bit of survivor's guilt sometimes because I have so many friends that passed away from drug overdoses, from gang violence, and it gets to the point where you're like begging people, like, dude, there's a better life, please. And we see like, please subscribe though. You know, I hope you guys are enjoying the live stream. But right, it's tough to see, man. And I think what makes it tough too is that you have two sides that one think that we want life to be this way, and one to excuse us for what we're doing. There's no in the middle. So how it's like no one's helping us. Exactly. You know what I mean? One side is saying that hey, we're committing crimes to feed our families. And then one side is saying that all of this is our fault, which is only true to a certain extent. So with those two extremes, where is the room for progress?
Where is the room for progress?
Because I agree with the self-accountability thing to an extent, 100%, but at the end of the day, we can't deny that you can only do so much. Obviously, there is a lot of room for improvement. You can get to a lot better place by working your hardest. But that's where it comes to the issue is that if they had some of the more resources and more tools, they can get a lot farther. And the other side, like I said, is telling us, oh, it's okay that you're committing crime. You have to understand where they're coming from. No. We can't have people
look at it for what
it is.
Right.
We can't have people discriminating against us, and we can't have people enabling us. These two extremes have to get out the way so we have room to grow.
Exactly.
Like, what do you think about that? I don't want to
the two extremes, they can kind of make a wall in between too high for people to see where the other is coming from.
Right, because we have this whole middle ground where you can grow.
Yep. If they just break down that wall, come together, like, hey, I'll help you. Because if we're being honest, everybody can learn something from anybody. Yeah, 100%. I think that's the only time where I truly think someone has become stupid or really ignorant. Well, you can be ignorant of anything. You just don't know of it. Yeah.
But the only time you can be foolish, I'll say, is when you think you know everything.
Just when nobody can tell you nothing.
Right, because you can always learn from the new guy. I don't care what no one says. You'll never know everything.
That's why in the impoverished areas, they're like, oh, nobody can tell me nothing. Nobody can tell me because I'm the most feared person. I get all the respect. I got all this money. I get all these women, and I do these many drugs and this. I ain't listening to nobody. I love this lifestyle. When they don't see themselves, they're not holding up a mirror to themselves and really looking like, yo, I'm poisoning myself right now.
I think at the same time, too, a lot of these rappers that don't really, like, maybe they lived the lifestyle for a couple years, and then they started rapping and they made money, they're profiting off our struggle.
Yeah. I'm not talking about the rappers, I'm talking about just the everyday people in those areas.
No, yeah, I'm saying like, so what you're saying too, 100%, you do have those people, and then you have people at the top just profiting off of us. Yep. So it almost feels like there's no real encouragement to get out of there.
Yep, as long as you're doing what they said, what they're talking about in this song, then you don't need to do nothing else. You're good. You're winning in life.
100%. I think one thing we gotta say too, bro, kids in the hood are bad. You seen that video of that poor girl that got jumped by like 12 kids in Chicago?
No, I didn't.
So, man, thank God not rest her peace.
I thought you were about to say rest.
No. I pray for her recovery. I'm not sure if she's already fully recovered. I think she broke her jaw or something. I have to double check. But no, man, this poor young lady, she was pregnant. No, we'll watch the video right now.
The video.
So, but no, yeah, she was a pregnant young lady, and oh my god, bro, that makes my heart hurt. She was guarding her son because there was a bunch of kids bullying her. Gets jumped by teens. But I don't think it's teens. They're like little jits, bro. Here it is right here. She's pregnant. That poor woman is pregnant. And that's fucking disgusting. If you have kids that act that way, fuck you. Fuck you. Well, actually, let me reword that. If you have kids that act that way and you don't take care of it, and there's reactions of the parents, and some of them look like they don't care. Some of the parents even defending these kids. Fuck you. That is crazy. This poor young lady, dude. She didn't deserve that. And look, she just guarding her baby.
That video made my stomach hurt. I'm not gonna lie.
It's awful. But that goes what we were saying, bro. These kids in the hood are fucking bad.
Oh,
yeah. It's badass kids. And I think that's where that enabling side of things has to stop.
It's the parental, because it starts at the roots, but it's the parental guidance that's missing, or it's misguided, whatever that leads them to that, to thinking that that's a suitable way to deal with something. And it's whoever they make their idols that makes them think that's a suitable way to deal with something. Because anybody with proper parenting, a sound mind, or not even just common sense would not even do anything.
Bro, and that's what's saying too, like living in the hood is tough, bro. You have these badass kids, and if you look up the statistics on shootings too, if you take out suicides and all that, it's like what, 60-70%, I could be a little wrong, it's all gang related homicides. And you know where most of those homicides are?
Impoverished areas.
Right, dude. And that's the thing, and these impoverished areas are still producing music that about killing each other. Like that, imagine a world without gang violence in this country. It would be so nice.
It would.
But it's just tough, man, seeing kids act that way. Cause like we said, we just watched that video. That poor lady's probably in her 20s, right? Holding her little kid while there's 13 stupid little motherfuckers jumping them.
It's like so many.
Because I will say at a certain point, what is in your mind to do that?
It's a herd mentality. Herd mentality is everywhere. Like we said, it's in the nicer areas, but even then, they see...
But to jump a pregnant woman?
They're like...
Kicking her stomach?
They're like, yo, my friend's doing it.
Which, thank God, I think her baby survived, thank God. I don't want to misquote that, and I really, really hope... I don't even want to look it up, because I want to hope that's true. But that hurt, bro. Watching a pregnant lady get jumped. And this is stuff that we see back home. And I think we can't deny it, bro. I don't care, bro. All these hood dudes, they're a bunch of cowards. They're all cowards.
Yep.
None of them care about their communities. They care about their communities. They be tough and do something else. I think there's great examples of people that still live in impoverished areas and stay for the people. There's especially some coaches of high school teams, they stay there for a reason. Because they care about the kids. And I think the high school sports, or sports coaches in general, are some of the most important positive role models in the hood. 100%. Right? Because there's a reason why you don't want to commit crimes and do bad things, because you don't want to get kicked off the team.
Exactly.
I wish we had...
something productive to do for them.
Right. I wish we had more things encouraging kids, but at least we have something, and something that, that it's still working.
You know what my dad would do in Philadelphia when he lived there? He would, since he was a muralist, he painted big paintings on walls and whatnot. He'd just have paint days, like in the communities where just anybody walking by could come. He had the mural on the wall, like he'd have it like paint by number kind of thing. He'd have a whole bunch of paints out. Like, hey, just come over, help me paint this mural. He had everybody on board helping paint the mural and whatnot. He was part of this company that took people out of prisons and had them like help with art.
Thank you for the subscribe. Sorry, I didn't want to say.
Oh, it's not.
But you know what was something to it? You know, that's positive and that's awesome. I'm glad you know your dad sounded like he was a real good guy. But I had to bring up something crazy. You know how we were just talking about little crash outs? Let me tell you a story. So this is a South Side LA story. Little ass kid, 12 years old. His name was Little Badass. So funny story. I don't think my dad would mind if I said. So he pressed my dad. And like I forgot what he said, but like, you know, this is my blog. I don't know, some little crash out shit, right? They didn't do anything crazy. You know what we found out fucking a couple weeks later? He got charged with a double homicide. Dang. 12 years old, bro. Double homicide.
12?
Right.
Good.
You don't fuck a Little Badass.
His whole life is fucked up after that.
Yeah, bro. Like, TK got nothing on him. What you know about Little Badass?
Nothing.
But yeah, man, like it's just so tough seeing people get lost in that world. I do think there's a lot of good things about it, but I think all communities have good things about them. But man, dude, I just wish it was different because hood culture is more negative than good. It is what it is. Because I think there's a lot of places in the U.S. that are impoverished that have better examples.
Exactly.
And a lot of people get it twisted too. I'm not. That's why I don't like going on either side because some people use it as an excuse to be racist. Some people use it as an excuse to look down on poor people, or some people will just. They use it for their specific narrative on both sides, 100%.
To categorize.
Right. But like this stuff exists everywhere, because you know. I think some trailer parks could be still be considered hood. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like when you got, I know a buddy told me a story recently. So over in Polk County, I think it was Polk County. So this guy went in for a domestic abuse call, and then this meth head dude in the trailer just pulled out his AR and started shooting at him. Thank God no one was killed except the actual attacker. But
those folks are crash outs too.
Oh, you know what we say, man? I think domestic abuse is the worst in the hood.
Oh, definitely.
100%. You know what I found out? I started thinking, like, look, don't get me wrong. I think a spanking on a kid once in a while isn't bad. But when you look on comment sections about people, like, watching a video of someone getting their ass whooped with the belt saying, oh, damn, you should have seen my mama. And I was like, damn, bro, you alright? I don't think you should be getting hit that bad. Because I started thinking, like, man, I don't want to ever put a hand on my kid. I pray to God that I never have to. And I want to make sure that a lot of the discipline is instilled in a different way.
Earlier.
Because, man, dude, like, domestic violence is huge in the ghettos. Especially on girlfriends.
Yep.
Bro, that shit's wild.
It's almost as normalized as anything else. I'm like, how?
Yeah, it's like, damn. And then I think one other thing about hood culture that is the whole baby mama shit, dude. I know it exists outside the hood, but I think shows like Jerry Springer profited off that.
Oh, no doubt.
I know it was funny at first, but think about it, like, bro, it's kind of sad. Like, you have this young lady with two different dads, and neither of them were the father. Like, it's funny, like, say, you are not the father, and you start doing backflips and shit, but sometimes you think, like, is this shit a circus?
It is.
Like, we're having people that are well off watching this, making fun of people in our communities, and it's just like, damn, like, are people just fucking in a circus? That's not right. You know what I mean?
Pawns in the chest.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be too corny, that's just funny sometimes. But there is, like, the reality check that we have to talk about, that, bro, there's people profiting off the suffering of people. In rap music, Jerry Springer, all these hood movies. You know what I mean? How many of these artists, or these movie artists and actors, everybody, that make movies about the hood, all these people are watching it, how much of that money is going back to our communities?
I'm not even...
I'll tell you, my high school still has fucking bungalows.
Bungalows?
You know what a bungalow is?
I don't know.
So it's instead of like having a large building for a high school, it's almost like a little mobile home.
Oh shoot!
So we have money, especially in one part of San Pedro, we have money for you to make multiple movies on, but you can't give that money to the high school so they can finally have a fucking building.
That's a good point.
I had half of my senior classes, or actually half of my junior and senior classes, in the bungalows.
That's a good point.
Why the fuck am I in Los Angeles, supposedly the 4th greatest economy in the world, California,
Hollywood,
but
right
I'm
there.
going to high school in a bungalow with 50 students to one teacher?
Yeah.
And the every other class, the students will make the teacher cry.
And they wonder why kids grow up and do that, or they don't grow up, but they do that because they're used to being.
I'm not throwing me a couch. It's you know, I will say too. Like in the hood, people brag about the dumbest of shit. Like, yeah, bro, I started smoking when I was 12 years old. Oh, what the fuck? What are you doing with that?
All right. Where's the fruit from that?
But you know who's the greatest example of how stupid this shit is and how much money they make off of it? 6ix9ine.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I would say 100%. You know what's so funny that he said? Where he says like, no one, your boy got a girl with a fat ass, but he ain't gonna do nothing with that. So like, hey, give me that. You don't know what you're doing with that. That shit was kind of funny. But anyways, back to the main topic. But yeah, man, I think that's the biggest thing we gotta talk about. Is that hood culture is overall a net negative. There are redeeming aspects. I wouldn't say redeeming, but good aspects. Because redeeming would mean that it covers for the bad aspect.
Yeah.
But there are good aspects about it that I think the world can benefit from. Obviously, it's always good to have someone that experienced something to say, hey, let's avoid other communities feeling this way. Like, that's why, it's good to have war veterans in politics. Because these are the people that should be making policy about war, because they've been to war, they know what it is.
Exactly.
And, but like I said, that's the core problem, that we have one side just, dogging on people in the hood, saying that, it's their fault, this and that, they could do better. Which, some of it is true, we can't deny it. There's a lot of self-accountability, but the other side is enabling us, saying that, it's okay to steal this and that. We'll give you more food stamps, this and that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like they keep giving you money. We'll keep giving you spare change to stay where you're at.
Yep. To keep doing what you're
Especially the way the system is set up, where if you make a certain amount of money, you'll actually have less benefits comparing your cash to welfare benefits.
Yeah.
Once you meet that cutoff. So a lot of people don't want to. They get into generational welfare because the way the system's set up.
They're like, I'm not gonna make more money. I'll get less.
No, 100%. And but yeah, man, like I think that too. But what we were saying earlier about the weird thing about the hood is bragging about where you're from, and man, you gotta say it. If you're dying for a block that you don't own a square inch of property, that's stupid. That's stupid as fuck.
That's stupid.
Hey, it's my block. You don't own anything, bro. Go pay your rent. Come on, go pay your landlord. And that's not trying to humiliate the guy, but it's just pointing out the problem. Bro, like, we don't own shit. What are we dying for? What is the point of all that?
Like, I don't even know.
It's like people saying, hey, you talking shit about my Chargers? Bro, you're not on the team. Relax.
Not
like, you're not on the team.
Bro.
And you know some of us? Why does every Mexican in the hood like the Raiders?
Because they look good on.
And I'll say that.
They look good on the field.
I'll say a Mexican from the hood that his whole family like the Raiders.
So,
like why? Well, actually no. I'll say all love to my family. I love my cousins. They like the Chargers.
I don't even watch football.
That might start beef in the Latino community. Oh, you like the Chargers, fool? Or remember what did Bobby Lee say? Hey, bark the what is the dog thing?
Hey, bark.
But no, yeah. Why is that a thing? Why do people hold on to and die over a neighborhood that they'll never own a piece of property on? Because I think a big issue as well is that these people can't afford homes, and they're pushing so much of this subsidized rent and subsidized government housing that it's going to be impossible to buy a home, and just these giant companies or these private investors buy these giant complexes, or they get government contracts and build these giant sky-high buildings where, let's be honest, the more dense a community is, the higher chance you're going to have some violence in there.
Yep.
So we're going to put all these rats in this little cage and see what happens because they're making money. Versus teaching people foundations of building wealth, learning about taxes, this and that, and being able to actually buy a home for themselves in a decent area. Because I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people try to demonize each other. Let's be realistic, bro. Most people just want to be left alone and have a decent home.
Exactly.
I think most people don't want the world.
I think I'd be more than okay with having a decent home, a nice family, not killing anybody in my lifetime.
Oh yeah, man. If I can go a couple weeks without a drive-by, that'd be cool.
I'll be alright.
But yeah, man, and that's it's just tough to see. And you know what? We gotta talk about this. What's up with ratchets and ghetto stuff in the military?
Nah, for real.
I never understood that, but I won't be too. Like I said, I can't be hypocritical because I would love for someone to correct me because I want to be as objectively true as I can. I can be wrong about a lot of things. Let me say it as a man. But I will say I did act ghetto when I first joined. I just came from the ghetto. And I remember I was, this is a story from tech school. Someone was making jokes saying, oh, I'm blood, this and that. And I pressed them over it. I was like, bro, what you know about Bloods, bro? What you know about Paru? What are you talking about? I was like, you know, people back home died about that. And then I looked back at it a couple years later. I was like, why the fuck did I care? I'm in the military. What am I talking about? Which, you know, there's two sides of it. One, yeah, the kid was being stupid.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I cared too much about something that has no actual reason to be in my life.
Exactly.
And I was too proud to be from the hood. Because some of the young girls in colleges, before I met my wife, obviously, just letting it out there, were like, oh, you're from LA? It's like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, young girls like ghetto guys sometimes. I don't know. I don't understand why. And when I got older too, I was like, why do these girls like me? I was like, I had nothing going for me. I was a bum doing hood rat stuff. That's not cool.
Yeah.
But the young girls liked it. And then, like I said, I started realizing, wow, like, once you get out the ghetto, no one fucking cares that you're from the ghetto. Unless they're using you for a political talking point and to get votes, they don't care.
They're not helping out or
no, they
not in mental health.
Yeah.
A lot of these people, that's where a lot of problems come from too. Is mental health.
And I used to, growing up, I was taught that cops were bad, this and that. And let's be honest, there are a few bad apples, and like, man, those people need to be punished. But majority of cops, bro, when I started looking back, like, damn, being a cop in Los Angeles, fuck that, dude.
That just sucks.
Oh my god. Like, it's awful, bro. Like, dealing with crash outs constantly. And I started thinking, I was like, sometimes I understand why some of these cops are assholes, bro. If I have to deal with these people all day.
You get disrespected for doing your job?
Yeah, bro. I will say, man, the only actual confrontation I had with a cop pulled me over when I was a teenager. And he could have gave me a ticket and messed up my enlistment.
Yeah.
But he was actually a former Marine. And I don't know, he might watch this one day. That'll be cool. But, he reached out to me and he was like, man, I want you to get out of here. So I'm not going to give you a ticket. Have any adult pick up this car. Just do not do this again. Do not drive.
All right.
And I forgot what it was. It was like a fast turn or something like that. But and nothing happened. He was actually a very nice cop. And I was thinking like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, I thought they were all bad or something. And then I have family now that's serving as police officers.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, when you get older and you see people still acting ghetto in their 30s, it's kind of like, damn, man. Yeah, it's like, but I'm not the type of guy that, like, sometimes, like, I can fall into the herd mentality and, like, say, like, oh, man, these people doing this and that. But then at the same time, it's like, you have to have some compassion. Be like, wow, I kind of feel bad for the guy who's still doing this. Does he got nothing else going for him?
That's probably why.
I do think everyone needs someone in their life to give them a wake-up call. Mine was my grandmother, God rest her soul. My grandmother was my wake-up call.
Yeah.
But growing up in the ghetto is hard, man.
It is. It's like survival mode, 24/7. Who wants to do that?
Bro,
Fight or flight?
People were willing to shoot each other just because of where you grew up. So I worked in this fish market called San Pedro Fish Market. Bro, I would once in a while. So Rancho San Pedro Projects was a little the Section 8 housing in that area, and they were always shooting at people from Wilmington. So, bro, I would get followed for wearing that shirt, and like, I don't know, bro. It's like they're obviously following you because, bro, you're driving 5 miles an hour, and I've walked 5 blocks. So like, I'm a kid at that time. You know what I mean? I was a teenager. So, the fact that some teenagers have to grow up, and I'll give my experience, like, and have to break into an alley to get away from being followed just because you're wearing a San Pedro Fish Market shirt.
Yeah.
Like
fish market, right?
You're being intimidated solely because of what you're wearing. You were willing to possibly shoot a kid because he's wearing a shirt. It just blew my mind, man.
Yeah, I would never get that. Never understand that.
Yeah, I think too is man, like, but what sucks too with the hood, they celebrate people coming back from prison and stuff like that. And it's good to see people free, but like, bruh, like, they be like free him, like, bro, you committed a double robbery, you committed a burglary.
And then they get out, it's like, hey, welcome back. Now time to do the same stuff over
again. You do the same shit all over again. End up in jail. And I think that's one problem with the prison system too is, and that's why I can't critique it too much because I don't know how to fix it. I think that's a big problem too. People critique things so much without giving the smallest lick of, or smallest idea of how to fix it. Yeah. Because obviously we want to keep violent criminals away from society, people that are menaces to society. But at the same time, if little badass, you have kids like that, they're committing crimes that obviously at a certain point you gotta put them away. Double homicide, but they get indoctrinated into this culture and they get worse and worse and worse.
Exactly.
And I think too, I think we kind of fantasize and glorify the OGs too much. People that still encourage that culture.
It's like you're 48, bro. Why are you sending kids to go shoot somebody or go steal something?
Oh, 100%, man. But it's a tough topic. It's not something that's easy to talk about for a lot of people. And I think a lot of this stuff too is people responding from trauma, because obviously it's not easy. You see some things that you shouldn't see as a kid. And I think, since we're closing into the last 10 minutes of the podcast, what are suggestions that you think you could do to fix the culture? If not fix, like, help it. Because obviously you can't fix everything.
Yeah.
Some stuff is, we're humans. Humans are bound, obviously, like, I'm a God-fearing man. Humans are born to sin. If you don't believe in God, humans are stupid. Yeah. Humans do dumbass shit.
Exactly. I feel like to help, you gotta start at the root to make a better tree. Start young, start with the kids. Start putting money into the education and helping parents or helping kids get the guidance that they need. Put more role models, more proper role models into those areas. And just teach them young.
My 2 cents would be, maybe it would help to focus less on giving them more handouts and free money and all this stuff. I think EBT's a little different. EBT's a little controversial because obviously there's a lot of people that abuse it and make the system bad. But, some people genuinely need a quick hand up and help them out. You're not meant to stay on EBT forever. It's meant to help you up so you can get up and find a better career or just be able to be successful after. It's meant to be a quick help out, not to live off it for generations. But I think maybe decreasing the handouts and putting that same money, like we said, towards schools. And honestly, focus the schools more on subjects that benefit people. I'll be honest, man. I know electives are good, but fuck creative writing, dude. Maybe we should have classes that teach about taxes. Maybe it might help to put more money toward more school counselors.
Yeah, towards school counselors, and while they're young, have them in more productive things. Like in Philadelphia, growing up, there was this camp that it was free for everybody. It was right in the middle of North Philly. It was like a creative camp. It had farming, it had clay work, it had dance class, it had a whole bunch of different things that students could join. The parents drop them off. They're off the streets for the whole summer, basically. They're learning stuff that could be productive. They have fashion stuff and all that.
You know something else too?
Yeah.
I think maybe even increase funding to the police, because I think at the end of the day, like I know there's a few bad cops, but it is so. Like let's say realistically, bro, without any emotional argument, more security presence is a deterrent. It won't prevent crime exactly, but it will deter it. Like obviously, you're less likely to have your house robbed if there's deterrence. If you have, signs up with the dog, you have the cameras up. It's less likely because obviously, people pick the easiest thing to victimize, especially a lot of houses. Like if it looks easier to rob, they might go for that house. So when it comes to schools, I think it increased security, more police, but not just that. Like I said, yeah, put more money toward resources of defending our people from people that are committing crime, but also put more resources to teaching people.
Exactly.
Because whatever's going on isn't really working. But I will say, credit to the mayor of Baltimore. Like, we could double check it. I think, like what we said earlier in the beginning podcast, we're on course for the lowest crime rate in 5 years, I think.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure from listening to a lot of what the mayor says, it's a big portion of his campaign, helping out the youth, which is the most important thing. The youth are the future.
Exactly.
Like, that is one thing that, I gotta give credit to another person on the opposite end of the political spectrum. It was Charlie Kirk saying, why are you debating college kids? Like, you guys are just college kids to me. You guys are the future of the nation. So, those are two people from the opposite spectrum, not opposite, I don't think they're that far from each other, but
they're both saying the same thing.
They're both looking out for the youth.
Exactly.
And we need more of that. But at the same time, too, there is so much profit being made from Hollywood. I'm not saying Hollywood specifically, I mean, media making money from the hood, and people think it's cool after a while. Like, I remember people think it's cool having that one illegal Glock with the switch. Like, bro, I got 10 guns in my safe right in front of us, all legal, and they're cool.
Yeah.
But the stuff that people are willing to do for validation when they can get years in prison.
It's just destructive.
It's self-destructive behavior, yeah. Were you about to say that?
Yep.
But
self-destructive.
Yeah, I think if I had to finish it off, man, more resources towards security, school, and if I had to go one more thing to keep it simple, fix the housing.
Yeah, definitely. If
you're gonna have Section 8, I think the least we can do is put more funding to clean up the houses. Because there is public housing in a lot of areas. I mean, some I'm pretty sure some cities have subsidized housing for senior citizens.
Yeah.
And they look better. They look a lot better than what a lot of these kids are growing up in.
You need to have HOA for Section 8. Almost this association.
No blocks, no switches allowed.
Yep.
You cannot play your music past this many decibels past 12 a.m.
No more than 4 members loitering in front of your house.
Oh, yeah, man. But, yeah, it's just... I know there's one more thing that we could put in there. Oh, yeah. This also goes to school. A larger effort of educating people of the different jobs they can get. Because college isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
But one person that is kind of a crash out, but I respect what he's doing. Well, one thing he's doing is, Aaron the plumber. I know he's a crash out, but he's a funny guy. Does a lot of dumb things. But you cannot deny the effort he's put in to educate people on. You can make a lot of money in trades. That's the thing. Let's be honest. A lot of kids that grew up where we grew up, they're not looking to become. Let me rephrase that. School may not look like the easiest thing to attain due to the cost of college.
Yeah.
But it's a lot cheaper. Trade schools.
More accessible too.
100%.
Not everybody can be a celebrity.
Like getting your CDL, doing things like this. Like, you know, working at McDonald's isn't your only option. Like, we were so focused on minimum wage jobs when a lot of people from areas that we grew up in, you don't need past a high school education to go to trade school. Like, versus, going 4 or 6 years in school just to end up working the same job, we could put a lot more resources into hobby shops in schools.
Exactly.
My school, I can't tell you, they put some money towards sports. We didn't have hobby shops.
I didn't have like woodworking class and stuff like that.
No, it was out the budget.
Jeez.
That's what I don't understand about the Los Angeles School District. They have so much money for all this bullshit. We could refunnel some of that money towards stuff that actually makes kids productive. And there is it's difficult to be a teacher in those areas. So I do want to finish off with, I respect all these teachers that are still keeping their jobs, working in these schools, because man, like, it's tough to, we watched the video with the kids in Chicago, it's tough to work with kids like that.
It is.
Because, it's hard. It's hard, bro.
You gotta be a soldier for that.
So, man, God bless those teachers.
Exactly.
And, they're fighting the right fight. A lot of those teachers generally want to make a difference, and it's good that. We need more people that care about the communities and not just about themselves. A lot of people are focused on big elections, because taking all your time away, when a lot of these people don't even know who their next mayor is going to be. So, let's finish off with that. More resources in schools, more resources in law enforcement, and a lot more education for maybe even people that do fall into crime, and actually rehabilitate them and teach them.
Proper rehabilitation.
Right.
Just throwing them back into where they came from.
But no, let's finish off with this. Thank you for the teachers that are still making an effort to change neighborhoods that we grew up in. Thank you for the law enforcement that continues to serve in those areas. And just a lot of these people are just trying to make a difference. So, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for the subscribers. You got anything else you want to finish up on?
Nah. I know my girl's watching. Hi, baby.
You can make it out the hood. So, if anybody that needs resources, that wants some tips on how to get out, like I said, I was supposed to be in their statistic. He could have been their statistic. You can always, if not, you could put in the comments. You could reach out to my email, and man, we're here to help out. Because at the end of the day, my biggest help from YouTube, make a difference in the world, man. It's not all about getting views, getting money. Hopefully, we could change one person's life.
Each one teach one.
Right, man. So that's the end of the Mex Talk episode 2 on hood culture. You guys take care. Have a good one. Thank you for coming up to the episode.
Of course.
Alright, you guys take care. Time to end the live. It's only these awkward last few seconds.